Windass waits, and Johnson scores!
Masaba's in the middle. Wednesday here could seal it. Casimir finds Masaba.
Now Bannon with a great ball in. Here's an opportunity. Palmer scores! Liam Palmer has scored for Sheffield Wednesday.
Players leave, the gaffer's future is undecided, and we have to wait another week to find out the fate of the North Stand. Oh, and certainly no American national anthems this week anyway. Hello and welcome to Wednesday Tie-Dye Podcast. I'm James Mappin. Alongside me is Mr. Matt Johnson. Matt, how's things, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I was just about to ask James, where's the flag?
Did you not see the video in midweek?
That went well.
Yeah. I've just missed out on sending it back to Amazon. Yeah, gutted about that one. But anyway, Matt, before we talk about this week of relative chaos, it seems to be, well, I don't know. I think yesterday when nothing happened is kind of clouding all all the stuff that went on earlier on in the week. But anyway, how have you been? Hectic week, getting everything sorted, leaving one workplace to start the next one in 6 weeks?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. So hence we were saying just before we came on, James, just how rough I look at the end of an 8-week term and leaving a workplace. I look hideous.
So hard, isn't it? 8 weeks before you have 6 weeks off.
Really tough, mate. Really tough. To anybody who does want to give me shit, I'm more than happy for them to come in and try and teach 30 kids who don't want to be there. That's fine by me.
He's got a nibble. He's got a nibble.
Yeah, mate. All good. All good. But yeah, it's been a really weird week because, again, as I've said, like in terms of like a job, I am looking forward to doing something different. But it is the school that I've been working at is the one that my dad worked at for 40 plus years. It's the one where my mum and dad both started their teaching career, and there's a lot of people who were there who knew both of them. So yeah, it's been a strange week. I'll be honest with you. Couple that with the shitstorm that is going on, obviously every single day. It feels like with Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, it is. It's been a difficult week, I would say. This is the first week where, James, I've actually made a conscious effort on one of the days to actually switch off.
Yeah, I was going to come to that point because, and I put a tweet out the other day as well. But if you do want to take a break from all that's happening, then obviously feel free to do so. I don't mean you, by the way. I still need you on here. Although you're not here next week, so I'll come to that later on. But no, if it is getting a bit too much for people, though, like you're no less of a fan for just switching off or just kind of tuning out for however long that needs to be, because it's just one thing after another, which. And there's very little, if any, positive news coming out at the moment. I mean, I'm sure that'll change at some point. It's bound to change. It can't get any worse, can it, Matt?
It can, yeah. I mean, just on that, mate, obviously, I messaged you on Thursday evening when, for the 45th time in 20-odd days, it felt like the world was falling apart, everything associated to Sheffield Wednesday. And I just thought, right, I'm going to take myself off. I put my phone on airplane mode and just went and obviously played some Twilight Golf just to switch off from it all. The 2 hours of that, I mean this really nicely, was pure bliss. Like to just not focus on it. And as you rightly say, James, I don't think it doesn't make you any less of a fan for having to sometimes just tune out of things for your own sort of sanity surrounding it, because it is heavy. Like it is really, really heavy at the minute being a Wednesday fan.
Yeah, I remember I think it might have been Thursday or might have been Friday actually. I messaged you about something. You were like, can you just fill me in, because I've not been paying any attention for these past couple of days. So yeah, like I said, if anyone needs to do that, then feel free. On tonight's show, we are going to be talking about plenty of things as always. We're going to be talking about Danny Rohl and the saga that continues with him. A lot of things have been happening. Is he taking training? Is he not? Is he there? Is he not? Is he at Nonnas or not? We don't really know. Talk about obviously the departing players, Josh Windass and Michael Smith, as well as the news or the non-news, as it turns out, about the North Stand. Where is that going to be open for the first game of the season or not? It's still not being signed off by the council, and we are 4 weeks away from that first home game of the season. It's going to be rapidly approaching. Don't forget to sign up to Patreon as well, patreon.com/WTID pod. You'll get extra time, you get the debate show replay, you get the preview shows once they start up again. We'll have the one with Leicester in a few weeks' time. I'm dreading doing. Normally what happens is we kind of do one and then I go on their show as well and do the similar thing. That is going to be a laugh.
Yeah.
That is really going to be a giggle, telling us who's your star players. Well, I could just name them all, really. Every single player could be a star player, because there's not many of them, is there? But yeah, you can also get access to the Discord community as well, over 250 members. So do make sure you have a look. We'll be doing extra time straight after this, and we're going to be talking about the takeover situation as it currently stands, and perhaps anything else that we don't get to talk about on here, which could be quite a bit, judging by how long the notes are. But anyway, before we get into all the stuff, I'll just read some of the comments out. You can see Alex is here. Let's go again. Daz is here as always. Doug says until tomorrow, then a shitstorm will start again. Yeah, we've had a quiet weekend, which is
yeah, everyone's had it off. Everyone's had it off. Kids and schools are off now, so everybody's busy.
Yeah, exactly. Joel's in here. We've got Matt. We've Alex. Most of the players in the intro have gone. Yes, I know.
Yeah,
we're having a new.
I've watched that every week, James, just counting them, going, well, he ain't going to be here. He's not here.
Have you seen someone put the season ticket media thing? When the early bird season tickets went on sale, and literally, I think there's Deshaun Bernard.
Yes,
that's the only one that's left, and Danny Rohl, of course. Everyone else, well, even Barry Bannon, obviously not got a contract. They've all gone, and it's not like there's only 3 or 4 people. It's about 9 or 10 players in the line. So yeah, that's a tough one. Do keep all your comments coming in as always. I think Dan says, "Have you drunk the Budweisers yet?" No, they are still in the fridge. I keep going to get one. I'm like, I'm tempting fate there. Like, let's leave them in there.
Yeah.
It's like it's only 4 pack of Bud. It's not like it's a bottle of £100 champagne or something. Do you know what I mean?
It's not like you can have a real celebration on 4 bottles of Bud. I mean, you can get a nice buzz on, but you won't be having a full on party in a rage.
Just go and get some more. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's a big thing. But no, they're still in the fridge. They might have gone out of date by the time the time comes around, though. To be fair. Matt, before we get on to Danny Rohl, we did a football thing this weekend. Rob Staten understands that we beat York 3-0 yesterday. I
didn't understand we played football yesterday.
It's like reading North Korea, isn't it? You know, like just we've had a game of football. No fucking knows who played or whatever. I have actually got Ugbo scored. We won 3-0. Ugbo scored, and you'll be happy with this one. Sean Fashira scored as well.
Yeah, so, but I mean, the Ugbo one, we need the celebration. Sean Fashira, I mean, best centre midfielder in the league. Ain't that right, Elliot? But yeah, best centre midfielder in the league. So,
and the other one I've got is young kid, unsure who.
Cool. Good. I'm just highlighting this one from Deshpon here. Breaking news: football team is understood to have played football.
Mate, it is mental. I cannot believe. I mean, right? I understand. If we don't, I think there was some. I asked for questions, and I think one of the questions was about kind of why are we playing all the friendlies from behind closed doors? And I get it. If there's going to be a friendly, it'll be the biggest attendance that there's ever been for a friendly, and there will be protests, and it'll be toxic, and it just won't be helpful for the team anyway. For preparing for the new season. So I get it why that is. However, you can still play the game behind closed doors, and then after it's happened, you can tell us about it. Do you know what I mean? You can tell us about how that game's gone, and like you can even put some highlights on or something. Do you know what I mean? Like just tell us that we won the fucking game for starters. Like, come on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, honestly, it is like, I just can't believe how, we've got a journalist telling us that they understand that we won a game of football yesterday. I think it was at Hillsborough. It was at Middlewood Road. I went past Middlewood Road yesterday lunchtime, and the car park looked very busy. I didn't see any coaches or York coaches or anything like that. But I just thought they were in for training. But yeah, clearly did a game of football and did a win.
It's mental, mate, because again, a memory come up on my Instagram this week of 16th of July 2019. Sheffield Wednesday played Northampton. We won 4-1. It was an evening filled with sunshine. England had just won I think it was the one-day World Cup against New Zealand at the 50 over the World Cup game as well, because I was listening to it on the car on the way down. God, what a simpler time. What a simpler time when a team announced their pre-season friendlies and you could go and you could turn up and watch them. Serious note here, James, if I see us have a worse prep for an upcoming season than this one, I will be a very unlucky man.
Just go back, 2-3 seasons when Cisco had him riding those little bikes around Spain, and we were
I'd take that at this point in time, mate. I'd take
it. I remember watching that. We played a team. I can't remember what team it was now. It was like a second division Spanish side that we played, and literally they played us off the park, and we had like 2 attempts, not even shots, like 2 attacks. And it were like, Christ, man. And I can remember it now. I was saying, Jesus, if this is how we're going to play, and everyone was like, calm down, it's only a friendly. And I'm like, this doesn't look great. And obviously, we all know what know what happened after that.
There you go, James. Rayo Vallecano. Yeah, for all the poor souls who went out and watched that game. I remember Peter saying, or Mercia, sorry, James Röhl might have got it Mercia.
I think it was Mercia, actually. Yeah, that was the one, yeah.
Eldense lost 4-0 as well. Like,
could be anyone.
It could be any one of them. But I remember Peter coming on the debate show afterwards and him talking about it, and he was like, how was it? I had a great time out there. My God, the football was shit.
Yeah, I know.
Boiling hot in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I do remember that, because that was streamed, wasn't it? That was streamed. It was live on YouTube. And I remember it was during the middle of the day as well.
Yeah.
So I remember being on my lunch break and just flipping it on and being like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, I don't have a clue what people are doing. I don't know where Marvin Johnson played right back, I think. And every single time he got the ball, you knew he was going to cut inside because he hasn't got a right foot.
Yeah, it was bad. It was horrific, but much better than what we've got at the moment. Now we've got, like, if everyone plays that chairman, what's it called now? That chairman football game, football chairman. It could be called football chairman. I think I've got it. That's what it's like. You press play and it goes boom, 3-0. Yeah, all right, nice one. I've won the game. That's what this is like with us. I mean, to be fair, it could be less stressful if we did that throughout the whole season. You know, just like played all the games behind closed doors, no media coverage whatsoever, and you just get to the end and you go, 5-0. I'm
with Robert. HMS Pistol League has set sail, and George Nixon's got an updated one, which is Football Dictator. So yeah.
Big Artie Shaw says 20-goal Ugbo. Daz says Ugbo scored. Please, I'm sat down. I would have fell down otherwise.
I can get on board with it. I'm telling you, he's having a big season. Everyone laughed last year.
I love your blind optimism, Matt, if nothing else, in regards to that. But let's get serious for a second then, Matt.
Yeah,
if we can. We're too much pissing around. Let's talk about Danny Rohl then. He's officially the manager, but players don't want him to be the manager, but he still wants to be the manager officially. But actually, I think he don't want to be the manager at all. Does that make any sense, Matt?
On the surface of it, absolutely not. However, when you think about some of the intricacies, it makes perfect sense. And sadly, it isn't the reasons that fans want to hear about as to why he's still here. I think the biggest giveaway for it is if he was happy and invested in the footballing situation at Sheffield Wednesday at the minute, you wouldn't be able to stop him talking. You wouldn't be able to stop him giving interviews to the club. You wouldn't be able to stop him talking to BBC Radio Sheffield, because he would be trying to drum up support. Why? Because that's what he did when he was happy here. He did that. He did those things. He curried the favour of the media. He got fans on side. He'd be outlying big rallying cries for everybody to get behind the football team, talking about the situation off field not being ideal. And obviously we're in a period of transition. He's just not there. There's not one press conference, not from anyone. No one has given an interview. I would assume journalists are asking, because it would be content gold that public figureheads should be talking. They should be speaking in interviews. They should be updating supporters or customers. Depends on which way you look at it. We know nothing, which is why people like me and you, James, are filling in gaps here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I suppose what we do know is he came back to work last Monday after missing first week and a half. It's been reported by numerous different sources that players don't want him back. I've also heard that one of the contributing factors to Smith leaving was also because Danny Rohl was here as manager, which I kind of get that really. He scored 8 goals and only start 16 games, and if he's going to be the gaffer next season, you're thinking probably not going to be playing much football this season either. So I kind of get that. But yeah, I think when you look at it, the problem for me is it's just dragging out so long, and it's just, again, like, we're suffering as fans, because and also the players as well. What they're supposed to know, you've got. I think they've had probably 4 or 5 different people taking training over since pre-season started, and we're only 2.5 weeks in. Like, we've got, they'll be going into training tomorrow thinking, is it Danny? Is it Pedersen? Is it Giles again? Like, Andy Olsworth, is he coming back out? Like, is Chansiri taking it this week? Honestly, like, they literally have no idea who it's going to be, and it's just not great for the preparation. And yeah, to your point as well, not saying anything. Like, literally nobody said a word. All the chairman said is he slagged off the Florida Consortium. That's the last thing that we've heard from him. Mm-hmm. The last thing Danny said, that was in a German podcast. I want to say he said nothing, has he? Since he's come back, we've had one picture of him stood behind a goal, pointing his hand, and that's it. That's all.
He could have been shouting at any fucker. He could have been talking about people parking cars. Who knows?
You 6, who've handed you noticing, you're over there. The rest of you are over this side.
It's just like, again, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably 3rd on the priority list, like, in terms of, like, actually the ownership situation and kind of obviously the HMRC and the tax stuff. It is probably 3rd on the list. 3 weeks today, it won't be. 3 weeks today, when there's 2,500 streaming out of Leicester, it will be firmly at the forefront of everybody's mind, and the ownership stuff will have just been pushed to the back of it for 90 odd minutes, apart from I Don't Care About Dejpon being sung for 90 minutes on repeat. It's an unbelievable mess. Like, it's an unbelievable mess. And what is happening on the pitch, we've mentioned a number of times on this podcast, James, that what you see on the pitch is a reflection of what you get off it. And actually, there have been 2 times in recent memory where it's actually been in spite of the ownership, which has been Darren Moore in League One and Danny Rohl, the first 12, 13, 14 months of his tenure here at Sheffield Wednesday. The last time that we heard Danny Rohl give any sort of an interview, anything Sheffield Wednesday related, like directly to the club, he was basically saying goodbye after Watford.
Yeah.
Like, if you go back and listen to that interview with the benefit of hindsight of knowing everything that's happened over the summer, just go back and listen to it. It is basically yep, I've really enjoyed my time. Thanks.
He's like almost talking in the past tense, weren't he, as well, when he was talking about us? Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
I just think you've just got to, like, it's difficult as well, because we're also talking about, communication coming out of the club, and also then people probably also didn't get paid as well. Like, so, and they're struggling more so than what the players are going to be and everything else. And we're asking for, like, no, we need to say these things, and this stuff needs to come out. But that aside, let's take the wages aside for a moment. Like, it does feel like the club are just burying its head in the sand somewhat. And again, like you mentioned before, everyone else is trying to fill in the pieces. And that's why I think people are getting very frustrated with all these people coming out with all the different bits of information that they've got, because some people will know, someone will live next to Barry Bannon or Max Lowe or like, do you know what I mean? And they go to the same gym, or, well, maybe not the gym actually, because I don't think they go turn up at the
but somebody will be doing somebody's work at someone's house or something. Yeah.
And you hear those things, don't you? And you're going to hear stuff, and that's why I think when anyone puts anything out, that's why it gets jumped on so much. And if it's even half controversial, it gets shot down instantly. And again, I think people and fans are just they want as much news as possible, and they're just hoping for that one nugget of positive information. And whenever someone says anything positive, the Bizzle on Al's Talk, he puts something on, and I say that's it, it's happening, flags are out again. You know what? Let's all get excited. But it's because nothing's coming out from the football club. They're literally saying absolutely nothing. What have we had? 2 galleries. A football kit that's come out, we're just literally just like, oh, we've got a sponsor. An hour later, oh, it's here. Look, the kit's here. Look, that's it. And again, I get it. Like everything just brings negative, even if it's a positive news story. The comments. I mean, to be fair, what they should do is just turn the comments off. Like, really, there's no point having the comments on. It's just Chansiri out. Get this man out of the club. Sell the club, Dejpon. Like, it's just all those things, which is understandable. But I do feel like it's gone on far too long now. And like, where's it going to stop, Matt? Like, where do we just draw the line in the sand and we just go, kind of get on with stuff and carry on as normal as we can do?
It's a really good question, James, because at the minute, nobody is coming out of this with any sort of credit from this situation. Chansiri or Röhl, to be fair, is, in my eyes anyway, at least, I don't speak for anybody else but myself. I think the longer this situation goes on with radio silence from the football club on all fronts, whether I don't expect the club to speak about ownership. We've got a broker who's in charge and there's NDAs being signed. I don't expect anything to come out in regards to that. That's absolutely fine. I've got no problem. You need to start talking about football like if you want anything. And yes, you are still going to get more comments than likes on any post that you put out on X, and every single one of them is going to be negative towards the chairman. But people need that content, because at the moment this is just getting worse, and the longer and longer that you leave it, the worse and the more of a barrier is going to be drawn between a fan base and the Sheffield Wednesday as an entity. Now, me and you have both said keeping perspective for this season is going to be the most important and also the most difficult thing, because it's not been the best prep so far for this upcoming season, both off the pitch and on the training pitch. The longer you leave it without saying anything, you are starting to create a bit of a wedge for people to fill the airspace and people to fill the gap. And even if that's not because you listen to content like ourselves, even if that's just you filling your own head full of your own thoughts, it will still drive a wedge, because you will make opinions, because you are going off flatly nothing at this point in time.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going off kind of what it's just your opinion, isn't it? It's based off very little fact whatsoever. I mean, what's your opinion on the whole situation, Max? It seems to be evolving, and I feel like a lot of people's opinions have changed somewhat, certainly over the last 6 months or so. Certainly on Danny Rohl, I see the snake emoji quite often when speaking about Danny Rohl and stuff. I mean, what should we have done? Should we have sacked him earlier? Should we have just mutually terminated his contract? What do you think should have happened with this whole thing?
I think there's so many different ways that you can go with it. And before I kind of like try and give some idea on those different of opinions, I am going to do something that you're not allowed to do on the internet, which is change my mind. You're not allowed to do that on the internet, because previously, I would even argue up until all the way through until the back end of last season, the manager has got a lot of buy-in from everybody based off the emotion that I'm with you, I'm here, and I want to win as much as you all are. Couple that with good coaching and good results, obviously. To myself, at least, it appears very, very clear that he doesn't want to be here under the current owner. And I understood that, at the back end of last season. And since then, not much has happened on all fronts to kind of change my mind on that. So from an ownership perspective, option one, the owner recognises he hasn't got the funds around about February last time. You know, like all of the smart things that he should have done, didn't do. Okay. My opinion hasn't changed on, I suppose, the further option is that the manager, it was really clear to see that Danny didn't see his future here after there was interest from Southampton with the current ownership as it was towards the back end of last season. The minute that came in, I am now in probably your camp more than I was 6-7 weeks ago, James, where we should have just swallowed our pride and cashed in, taken a cut price of 2.53 million with add-ons and consolidated last season and moved on. The other one is the moment that we were mathematically kind of like eliminated from that. So basically Cardiff, when we had those 8 games left, we got to win, and we scraped a 1-1 draw with the side that went down. We should have just told him and his agent to go find a new club and we'll accept 2 million quid or 1.5 million quid or whatever it is. The fourth one is the season ends and you negotiate a cut price free with him, with another club at the start of the summer, and you just rip the bandage off and deal with it, because it's become clear over the summer that the club is struggling to negotiate with him and he is struggling to negotiate with the club. I think from the manager's option, I have zero problem with his conduct up until 2 weeks ago. I have no real problems. I don't think it's a great look over summer, but ultimately I haven't really got a massive problem. However, 2 weeks ago, it became very clear that you have not been able to secure another job. Turn up for work. Come back, make your apologies, and build that buy-in the minute pre-season starts. Now, by all accounts, I think reading between the lines, the only reason that the manager is here is because he didn't want to be in breach of contract and he didn't want to be on the hook financially.
Yeah.
You don't just not come back at the start of a season. You come back, you put a face on, and you act professional. Everyone knows this is bullshit. Everybody knows it's a charade. Everyone knows you're not happy, but you do it because that is the mark of a top-class leader. Not a manager of a football club, a leader. You hold it together when everybody around you is losing their heads. You owe it to, first and foremost, the players. Secondly, you owe it to the staff who have supported to get you in this position day in, day out. Third, you probably owe it to us as fan bases because we were the first fan base who took you in really closely and have properly given you everything.
Christ, I've read about 15 T-shirts with his face on it. So, do you know what I mean? Like, fully immersed into it, you know.
We all know the owner is a prick. We all know that. Like, every single person connected with Sheffield Wednesday, even loosely, you play in the same division as us, you know the owner is a prick. We know his advisor is cancer at this football club. What you don't do is stoop to their level. You don't stoop to their level and start playing the game because what it is going to do is somebody like myself, who has been a staunch Danny Rohl supporter up until now, is really taint my views on him. Because if this shit carries on of, oh, I'm sort of there, I'm sort of not, I'm not really saying anything, the minute he stands on that touchline 3 weeks today at Leicester, the players will get a lot of backing. I don't think he will.
Well, there's a question here. Joel says, do you two think Röhl will get booed against Leicester by Wednesday fans?
I've seen worse situations. I've seen people get booed for a lot less. And I'm not condoning it in any way, shape, or form. I'm really not. I'm not condoning it. If that's not how you feel, and I'm not trying to suggest anybody should feel a particular way about it. But I will be completely honest, James. It's going to take, for myself as a fan, I am always now going to, it doesn't matter what he comes out with, it doesn't matter how many times he chucks his hands up in front of a home or an away end. I know he's not as invested. I know he was desperate to get out. And I'm aware that I can't even begin to imagine how difficult it must have been working for this particular owner in this environment, the pressure cooker that is Sheffield Wednesday, and you are 1,000 odd miles away from your family. I cannot imagine how difficult that is and how lonely that job will have felt at times. But that is why you are paid substantially well and why you are not because it's not all about finances, but that's why you are being bestowed with the position of a manager at a football club, is because you are capable of managing that. You are capable of it being in control of your emotions at all times.
Yeah. I mean, when you mention finances, that's right. Like, because if you were paid a lot less, nobody would do it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like for all the shit you can possibly get, and the fact that your job could literally last, in Cisco's case, 10 weeks or 10 games, should I say? That's why they get paid what they do get paid. I think for me, you know, when you mentioned there about because I have probably a different stance, not as perhaps as aggressive as what yours is, and mine does boil down to the fact of it's not just a case of him and a football club. That is also, you've got to take into consideration the owner as well. Because I've said it many times. We should have just mutually terminated his contract at the end of the season. I know a lot of people are going to be saying, "Yeah, but Chansiri were holding out for this money," and I get that. And I keep repeating myself, like, you only get that money if things are going well. You don't just not sack a manager because you think, well, someone could come in if they want him, they've got to pay 5 million for him. It doesn't work like that. Things dropped off. It just, you get to that point, you think, right, I thought it was going to happen. It didn't happen. It still hasn't happened. Right. Because there will be, you know, discussions taking place behind the scenes. It's not just sat there waiting for an inquiry to come in. Like, they will be going.
I really hope that was the case. He just sat there twiddling his thumbs on the bench every week, going, "I wonder if they need a manager."
Looking at his phone like that, I hope it rings. Oh yeah, it's Southampton. All right, okay. Like, that's not how it works. Like, but obviously not. You know, if you know that that's the stumbling block, it's not going to happen. You're just going to go, right, it could be that there's a bit of a standoff or whatever, and you feel like you've lost, but that's just life. As in, the club feel like they've lost because they're going to have to just terminate the contract. But you've got to look at the bigger picture. You've got to look at what's coming. And you're like, right, I know there's all the financial stuff, but just from a manager standpoint and just from a manager and players, we finished 12th in the league. Right, we need to build on that. Manager don't want to be here. Right, get him gone. See you later. Yeah. If you don't want to be here, they can just both walk away. There don't have to be any money transferring hands or anything like that. He would happily have just walked away from the club, said his goodbyes, and then we move on. We bring the next manager in, and we'd look forward to the next season. And then they go, "Oh shit, didn't realize it was this bad." But you know what I mean. But like, for me, I do feel like some of the criticism that he's been getting is a little bit unjust, just because I feel like obviously Chansiri, he also wanted him to go in a certain sense, because we now realise that he wanted the money. You know, he wanted that compensation package. He wanted the £5 million or whatever it was rumoured to be. You know, but I think like now I feel like Danny's just got him by the bollocks, really. Like, you know, because he's just, especially now he's come back and the players don't want him to be there by all accounts. So now Chansiri's got the position where I've got a manager that don't want to be here and probably can't afford to sack him either. And we've now got players, the few players that are still here that want to play for us, don't want to play for this manager either. So he's got a big problem now. And I really don't know how it gets sorted, you know, other than, well, I don't know if the mutual termination option would even be there anymore. I think they've both fucked each other about so much over the past however many weeks it's been, months it's been, that I think now it is just, it's just a case of he who blinks first. And I think Danny's, he's probably just said, I'm the gaffer, or you've got to pay me off. And I really don't think we can afford to pay him off.
Question for you then, James, on the back of all of that. Do you think Danny has been badly advised, or is it down to personality? I've always loved Danny, but under great pressure, true character comes to the fore.
Again, we don't know what's happened behind the scenes, because there could be a possibility that because Chansiri wanted the money so much, has he just asked him to go out and, you know, in a roundabout way, asked him to go out and put yourself on the market? You know, as he told him that the only way you're going to leave is if someone pays them this money. So you're not just going to, as I mentioned earlier, just sit there and look at your phone and wait for it to ring for someone to say, "Oh yeah, I'll have you as the manager." Like you, especially when you're in a job already. Like how many managers actually leave a current club to go to someone else? It's probably very, very low. Even your top managers, your top clubs in the Premier League tend not to get someone that's already in post. It's always someone that's not in a job that ends up going, even to the big clubs. So even they don't pay anything for managers and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like until you know everything, I think it's very difficult. And I do feel like a lot has been made of the podcasts and the articles that he's done. And I go back to it. When you asked the question, he just gave an honest answer, and which was probably that we don't like that honest answer. I don't think he's ever said, "I don't want to be Sheffield Wednesday manager anymore." I think he has spoken about us in the past tense a little bit, which is probably, you read between the lines and you say, well, that's him checked out already. And I get that. But I do feel like a lot of it has been Chinese whispers, and, but if you just read what's on social media, it's come out and gone, "I don't want to manage Sheffield Wednesday anymore. I'm going to manage someone else tomorrow." That's how it comes across. And he obviously he's not come out and said that, has he?
No, of course, James. I just going back to that question of Danny being badly advised, or is it down to his personality? My honest answer is I think it's not just narrowed down to those two, but I do think it's both. I do think, I've said this multiple times, the first thing that Danny needs to be doing once this situation is sorted is sacking his agent. That is the way in which that they have advised him potentially to handle this situation has been fucking appalling. The second one is, and we've spoken about this a number of times, James, you don't get to where you are from being a football analyst to being a top level manager at one of the most watched divisions in the world by not having an ego. like, and not having a personality and believing in your own hype to a degree. I think the other thing surrounding that situation is, I think you have to, as you've rightly said, James, you do have to take into account the ownership. You do have to take into account the stuff to do with his family and how far he is away from them. But also, I can't forgive the way in which that you've got buy-in from a club, like, entirely, and it is all driven. Like, he's done it in a very different way to the man who was over the other side of the city, where he's talking about passion and I'm a blade through and through and all the rest of it. He's done it in a very different way. He's done it by turning up when nobody else would, doing a really good job of it, and building a connection with fans by being blunt and direct and honest. The reason why I'm so, I suppose, disappointed in all of this is because you just have to turn up. When it's not gone the way that you want, every single person knows, unless you are like really 100% not being paid. But we spoke about Jeddy Gassama last week. The chairman will have been paying assets. He will have been paying assets because then you can sell them and you can raise some capital. Danny Rohl, to this point, is still one of the most sought after managers in the Championship. Not now. Now is the wrong time to go out and hire a manager. The right time to go out and hire a manager is November, when there's the first spate of sackings in that international break. There'll be a number of clubs who are looking at him potentially, if he is still the manager in post by that point.
If he leaves, he'll get another job somewhere at some
100%,
point. Like, do you know what I mean? He's not going to. He's never not going to manage any other club ever again, is he? Really?
No. But it's what we're seeing currently with our playing squad. Is there are vultures circling, and there are people going, "Yeah, I might not get him this time, but I'll definitely get him the next time." Because this club is going off a cliff day by day. If you can save yourself, but reported fee of £5 million, knocked down to like 2, knocked down to like 1, or whatever it is. If you can save yourself all of that hassle by just going, yeah, we've had a bit of a shit start, but I'd back us to still be out of a relegation zone. I just pick him up in November when all of this shit is sorted, and then I can just get going then. And it's shit for us. It is shit for us, but it goes back to the top. If you are an owner who has put your football club in this situation, you have to wear it. You do. And I do think, again, as I say, James, I'm not trying to sit on the fence here. I don't agree with the way the manager's behaved this summer. I don't agree with the way the manager has behaved, in particular with the last 2 weeks. I think it's been appalling, to be perfectly honest. But I am understanding of how he's got here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I also think as well, when you go back to when Southampton were first interested, I think some of the comments that he made, another chairman would have probably got wind that he don't want to be here, and quite quickly just sorted the situation and just removed the problem, which clearly is the manager. Maybe we perhaps, again, with hindsight, looking into it, maybe the fact that Chansiri didn't do that is because, again, he perhaps couldn't afford to just sack him. And we've said that for quite some time, especially when he signed a new deal as well. That he's like, what was it, a 3-year deal? He was only, a few months into that one. And then I think it's almost like he's gone on roulette and he's put his money down. He's run out of money. He's gone back again, got some more money. He's like made one bad decision, as in he thought he was going to get sacked, and then he's had to kind of double down on it again and do more things to try and get himself sacked. And then maybe, saying he's not going to come back. Well, that's certainly going to get myself sacked. No, I'm still manager like that. And then he's like a bit of a Mexican standoff, isn't it? It's like they've gone again. Chansiri's like, come on then, walk then. But if you've got to walk, you're paying me for breaking your contract. Yeah. And I think it's just got like that. And again, it's like, from Rohl's point of view, he's expected him to be relieved of his duties, and he's got to this point and he hasn't. And now he's like gone, shit, I've got to come back. And then that's where we are now. And with 3 weeks away from the start of the season, and I genuinely can't ttell you who's going to be the manager. I literally, it could be Röhl, it could be Pedersen. I think it's between those two. I mean, Pedersen fucked off. Pedersen might have fucked off by then. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Cooling off period. You know what I mean?
I forgot 14-day refund on this. But you're right, James. And that is, I think, when you're looking at the preparation for an upcoming season that was always going to be an uphill battle, never mind all of this shit. This is the worst possible prep for what is going to be a squad that is made up of inexperience. There's going to be some real experience in there, but the depth that we were talking about last year, because I think it was, I think we're talking about it on Extra Time, obviously, is the squad going forward for next year at present, obviously. The first 11 is okay. It's when you look to the bench and you go, right, who can I bring off? Because everybody's fucked. And there is nothing there. What you need is calm stability and good management, which at present, there is none of that on show. None. Yeah. And there needs to be, just to give yourself a chance, there needs to be a decision one way or another from the two individuals who are involved in terms of Deshvan Chansiri, who currently is sadly still the owner of this football club, or Danny Rohl himself, where one of them just goes, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm sacking you. Or, no, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm here. He's not going to get rid of me. Right, I'm invested because I want to make a good fist of this. Because there has to come, and I am going to speak and I am going to talk about things, because this is where, as fans, we're hearing all sorts of rumours coming out of the football club at the minute. We're hearing, talking on Michael Smith. We're hearing one of the things as to the reason why Michael Smith has left is not only because of his contract, is because he told Röhl what he thought of him. Yeah. Like when he came back in that players' meeting. And I'm sure if that is true, he won't have been the only one who has told him this. There is all sorts at the minute that is wrong, but this is up there. Like it is okay. Yes, while there is an ownership crisis that is going on and we'll continue to talk about it, it is also okay to say this is shit as well. Like this is not a good situation, and this is important because, again, 3 weeks' time on national television, when there's 2,500 Wednesdayites singing their hearts out in that corner, it's going to be in fucking stark reality just how bad this season, that like the prep for this season has been.
Yeah, Graham says the manager situation at Wednesday should have been sorted at the end of the season, and we should have cut ties with Danny. We should have had a new manager in place now and a full pre-season with players. Matt said DC has Röhl by the balls. I think it's the opposite way around, Matt. Honestly, do. I think Röhl's holding all the cards now. As I mentioned, he's come back. The players don't like him. Something's got to give. The players. I mean, do all the players walk, and then there's no players for Danny Rohl to manage, or does the manager get sacked? Like that for me, I do honestly think it's the opposite way around, and that's only happened since last Monday. By the way, I don't think if you go, just a few days before that, and for the weeks before that, I think you're probably right. Chansiri holds the cards since he's come back, and the players aren't happy. I think it's flipped it 100%, and Danny Rohl's just put his foot down, and I think I mean I don't even know if he took training all last week. It wouldn't have surprised me if he didn't, to be honest. So anyway, let's talk about some of the players then. Matt, you mentioned about the first 11 being okay. Well, it's slightly worse now after the news on was it Thursday? I think it was, weren't it? Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. Yeah, not positive whatsoever. Josh Windass and Michael Smith have both left the club by mutual agreement. Yeah, I mean, before we get into the specifics of kind of how they left, let's just talk about Michael Smith first, and we'll come on to Josh in a second. Signed for us in the summer of 2022. The first season that we had in League One, double swoop for Michael Ahekwa as well. I remember I was in Newcastle at the time, and I was like, "Wow, look at that! We've signed two of there." Obviously, we're in League One, there in the Championship. Wow, what a signing! He went on to make 127 appearances, 32 goals. And Matt, you can't deny that some of the goals he has scored were important. I mean, I think the most important, but probably one of his easiest, was the Peterborough one, the penalty. The first goal that he scored in that game after 10 minutes or whatever it was. I mean, I'll just read out the statement that he put together, because there's quite a poignant point at the end. He says, "I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to every single one of you for the support I have received over the last 3 years. Hillsborough has felt like a home for me and my family, all thanks to you. Having my daughters belt out hi-ho Sheffield Wednesday on match days and to walk out with them on the last home game meant everything to me. We've shared some unbelievable memories together and will honestly last a lifetime. To the staff and the players who I've had pleasure of getting to know personally and build friendships with, thank you for everything. I wish you all the best in the future. And he finishes off with, your club has and always will be about the fans. Smudge. That final line is quite a powerful one in this current situation we find ourselves in, isn't it?
I mean, I think that's true of any club, surely. I think it's a nice sentiment at a time like this, but I didn't read too much into it aside from it's a parting shot at the owner and potentially the manager, because he mentioned staff, not in particular managers.
Yeah, that is a point. Yeah, he did leave out. Yeah, there's two omissions there, isn't there? Of
Yes.
Owner and manager. You could have. Yeah, all right. Staff, is that manager as well? Maybe, but he could have made a point of singling him out. But I think I suppose it's just us as fans trying to cling on to everything that we possibly that we possibly can. I mean, what do you make to the news that he's leaving? Is it going to be a big miss for you?
Under normal circumstances in a well-run club, I'd have said this is exactly what needs to happen. At this point in time, what a shit show. We need every single one of those 8 goals that he scored last year. We need a player who is going to be able to come off a bench potentially and score a goal, which he went on a nice little purple patch of doing for a couple of months. In the current iteration of Sheffield Wednesday, it's a massive miss. Now, had you asked me January or December, if we lost him in the summer, would you care? No, I wouldn't give a shit. No, fine, absolutely fine. It's smart. We cycle him out. Ike Ugbo comes back, scores 20. That's fine. Bailey Cadamartri comes back, obviously, from his loan at Lincoln next year. That should be his shirt. Squad rotation is exactly what I've been peddling out for. He's the wrong side of 30. Now you need all of the bodies that you can get. And leaving under the cloud that he's leaving under is something that I don't think should have happened for a player who has given really good not my type of player, but given fantastic service to this football club whilst he's been donning the blue and white shirt.
Yeah, I think, well, just go back 12 months, Matt. We were all saying, yep, move Smith on. We need to get someone else in. He wasn't great that season before. And then to be fair to him, I think he did do some good work in pre-season. He looked pretty trimmed, didn't he? But by the time the season started, I think did he score in the opening game against Plymouth? I think he did, didn't he? He came off the bench and scored. I want to say he scored the 4th goal. So he got underway early doors, and I thought, and we saw some decent stuff from him. And obviously, I mean, the goal that he scored against Portsmouth, my oh my, that was an absolute belter. That one, weren't it? But yeah, I have to agree with you, really. I think we just need all bodies. We just need players. And the fact that, obviously, couple that with Windass, I think I pointed out 39 of the 60 goals that were scored last season by us in the league have just walked out the door for nothing as well. No, not for nothing, because we did get something for Gassama, but we haven't replaced them with anything. So we've got the rest of the squad make up the 21 other goals that we scored. And I think that's 5 of the top 6 goal scorers last season that have now left the club. Yeah. And to be fair, you could say it's all 6 because Barry Bannon, he hadn't signed the new contract yet. I can see there's a few questions about Barry Bannon, which we might get onto in a bit. But that is quite worrying to me in a season where we're not really going to be challenging much at all, or even competitive, to now not have any goal scorers as well. In terms of goals, I've mentioned the Portsmouth one. That obviously were an absolute belter. Is any other goals that of his that stand out for you at all?
I think if I go back to this season, Swansea away, really cultured finish into the bottom corner first time. Really important win at the time because we were on a bit of a slide and needed to arrest it. I think For me, I am going to go. I'm going slightly left field here, James. I think it's Michael Smith's most complete performance in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt. I think it's Shrewsbury away, the hat trick that he scored. 3 outstanding finishes. The first one, back heel from Gregory, wraps it in the top corner. Second one, towering header, centre of the box, back across the goalkeeper. Third, runs in behind, barges the lad to the floor, slots it away. That was his most complete game in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt for my money. Shame the game meant absolutely fuck all, because obviously we were eliminated from the autos on that day. But at League One level, exactly what you want. This last year and the last 12 months, he dedicated himself in a way and turned his, I think, Sheffield Wednesday career around, because the season before, the Great Escape season, quote unquote, he was relatively anonymous. And when he came on, you were like, he's never going to fucking do anything. And I think it was him and Ehekwa who dragged us to a 2-2 draw against Norwich. And that felt really important. And his celebration was like a real release of emotion after that game.
Yeah.
This season, as you say, the season just gone, James, can't argue with it. Against the big sides in the league, so the top 6, top 8, he really struggled. He really struggled. But I think that's true of every single one of our squad. Like, every single one of our squad really struggled against those really top teams in the league. But what he did do was put himself into a situation where if you're another championship club now, say bottom middle of the championship, if you are struggling with options, and I don't think Michael Smith will be short of options, but if he wants to prolong his career at this level, he has proved that he does score goals at this level, because that's exactly what we were talking about last summer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Scores goals for fun in League One, then with Rotherham, didn't really score in the Championship. Come here and he's got 8 goals in, not very many starts. Important player, big miss. I'm sad to see him go in the situation that he is going in. But again, would it be time to move on if the club was better run? Yes, absolutely. And I really hope he gets himself a club like if he is dropping down to League One, a really competitive team in League One, like a Bolton or a Cardiff or a Plymouth, and goes and does what he did for us, which is banging 20 goals a year and look like a world beater and get himself a 2-year, 3-year deal and ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, I mean, he could get reunited with Warney at MK Dons. I mean, that would mean dropping down to League 2. Yeah, I know exactly.
It's too low.
I mean, he could join Icky at Blackpool, maybe. I mean, Lewis says stinks of him joining Windass at Wrexham. I mean, Wrexham were interested in him as well, but I think they were interested in him in League One.
Yeah, ship sailed.
Not necessarily in the Championship. So unless you never know, Josh might be putting in
Charlton would make a lot of sense, James. Like, as in an experienced player to bring off the bench. Like, I
think he wants game time though.
Yeah,
because I know it might be other things why he wants to leave, but he's going to get. He's going to get starts and stuff, or going to come off the bench, even if Danny Rohl's still here. Like, he's still going to get that. I wonder if he just wants a new challenge. I mean, is he going to go to Rotherham? Could he go there? Could he finish up there? I mean, I don't know what their stance is like at all. But.
I don't understand why you'd go back there, because he didn't, like, say for argument's sake, if Will Volks went back there, I think Rotherham fans would welcome him with open arms. Yeah. I think the way Michael Ehekwa and Michael Smith left and were announced at Sheffield Wednesday, and then also the fact that when Ike Ugbo scored at the New York, he was stood there laughing in everybody's faces next to him on all the footage. I don't think it would be maybe the happiest of reunions, if that makes sense.
I could see him staying around the area though, a Barnsley maybe or something like that. Stephen said joined Darren Moore at Port Vale. Yep, I could get that as well. Just as the absolute heavens have opened, by the way. So
just getting waiting. I'm coming through.
It could have been. Do you know what? The other day I left the window open and it was pissing it down. I went upstairs and it nearly wasn't a podcast this weekend. It was like the Titanic, with the amount of water that was on the desk and stuff. That was
nearly a very expensive week for you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like obviously we wish Michael Smith all the best. Barry said, no room for Smith at Blackpool. Fletcher doing the business. Do you know what? He actually scored some goals last season.
I know.
How Bruce got a tune out of him, I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I again, James, just to echo your sentiments there, I do really wish him well. And he will always be able to, I would imagine, pull up to pubs north of the city and just basically go, yeah, do you remember that penalty I scored? And he can just rattle that off. And the other thing is, James, on him, and this is going to sound so horrible. This is probably the biggest club that he's played for where he's had that kind of like pinnacle of people, like, you know, like that huge site kind of like crowd as James is trying to climb out the window because he's realised that Chansiri's not selling and Michael Smith's left, Windass has left.
I was getting wet from the window. So
I am really sad because this is probably it's probably a move that he thought wouldn't have come for him, if that makes sense. As in like playing for a club the size of Wednesday because of the type of player and the profile that he is. I'm sad to see him go, but I do hope he gets himself fixed for a good and competitive club and he has a good run of games next year.
Yeah, definitely agree. Let's move on to the other one then. Josh Windass left under the same circumstances. No surprise, really, to be fair. I think he was quite shocked that he even had an extra year on his contract, to be honest, after his dad was saying that was going to be his last game at Hillsborough. But yeah, 5.5 years at Sheffield Wednesday, 182 appearances, 53 goals, the most goals scored by any Wednesday player this century, which is quite the achievement. All from defensive midfield as well, by the way. Joke, that is a joke. Again, I'll read his statement out that he put on his Instagram page. Wow, 5.5 seasons at this incredible football club. I can't explain just how much I've enjoyed playing for this club, representing the badge and the people of Sheffield. To the staff that I've worked with me behind the scenes, to the players and to the supporters, I cannot thank you enough for the love and support you have given me during the time being here. I can categorically tell you without any hesitation that I have given 100% in every single day in training session and at every game. My goal is to always give supporters moments to remember when they go home from a game, and hopefully that is what I have done, and I hope you remember me that way. I will never ever forget Sheffield Wednesday, and for sure I'll be a fan for life. Thank you again, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Just brought a comment up there.
Yeah, Chef Cam's one. Windass won't be short of offers, and obviously Dejpon's here again. If Windass slags me off on Welcome to Wrexham, I'll not be happy.
Do you know what it reeks of? Obviously, it looks like he's going to Wrexham, but it reeks of when we play them, he's going to score and he's going to kiss the badge.
He's going to go fucking ballistic, and I hope everybody's ready for it. Like, he's not going to do do you know what? There's a part of me, James, that hope he doesn't do that non-celebration bollocks. I want him knee sliding. I want him cupping his ears. I want all of that because that is Josh Windass. I don't disagree with anything that is in that statement because again, James, I know he divides opinion, and I don't want this to appear as like revisionist history with very blue and white tinted spectacles. For my money, I think he's up there with one of the most intelligent players that we've had since dropping out of the Premier League, like footballing intelligence. I'm talking, I'd place him in the same type of footballing intelligence as a bracket as somebody like a Glenn Whelan. Not the same level of player in terms of technical ability and all the rest of it, but somebody in terms of footballing intelligence who dedicates himself to the game. I don't think there are too many consummate professionals off the pitch like Josh Windass anymore. And I get people don't take to him because of a perceived attitude problem or an ego or whatever you want to class it as. But I've always said with Josh Windass, I don't necessarily agree with everything about him, but I really like a player with an edge and a swagger about him.
Yeah, I think it's quite, in what he said as well, quite interesting that he makes a point of telling everyone that he puts 100% effort in, which tells me that he's probably seen something that says otherwise, which I don't think anyone was ever questioning his effort level, certainly not kind of behind the scenes. And I think it was well known that he was a student of the game and really, took everything seriously, didn't drink at all, didn't have a drop, and he was very, very strict on his diet and the way that he looks after himself and things like that. And obviously talked really highly of Danny Rohl when he came, and at every opportunity, I think he's again spoken quite well of him. But yeah, I think, like I said, he did polarize opinions somewhat, and we've touched on this many a time. But I do think we are going to really miss him, like perhaps more than it's that saying, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And I think that is no true word said about Josh Windass. 13 goals last season in the league, good enough for 5th best Let's not forget, 13 doesn't sound a lot when you think 40 odd games, 13 goals. Maybe maybe the player should score more, but only 4 other players, which were Pirou, Sainz, Brownhill, and Sargent. They were the only players last season to have scored more goals in the league than Windass. So I think we perhaps took him for granted a little bit. I think, I'll not beat around the bush yet. Injuries, whenever a player gets injuries, I think from a fan's perspective, we do kind of, think a little bit less of them, I guess, that rather than someone that plays every single week. When a player does have injuries and they're missing and they're out for another 6 weeks or whatever it may be, it can be seen as a bit of a problem. But yeah, Brett said 13 goals is decent for a central defensive midfielder. Yeah.
the jokes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he'll, in terms of like where he's going to end up, it does look like it's going to be Wrexham now, where they're certainly there in the front running for that. And I mean, I could see him at Wrexham. To be fair, I could see him at many championship sides. To be honest, I think Coventry are also interested. I think there's. I can't remember who the other club is that apparently Norwich, I think, is the other one.
There'll be Norwich, West Brom, Coventry, Wrexham. I'd imagine Bristol City will take a look at him if he's available. There will be a number of different championship clubs who are after him, who are around the type of stature of those clubs. Why? Because he is a good championship player. He is, no matter what people want to say. And I know we have incredibly high bars of players at Sheffield Wednesday, but I think now all of the dust has settled and this player has moved on. We can all agree he was a good footballer. The last 2 years has seen Josh Windass be fit and firing at Sheffield Wednesday. And fit and firing Josh Windass has produced in his second season here the 5th best goal scorer in the league from central defensive midfield. It's inarguable that he was... Yes, I know people go, oh, well, he only scored in like a patch last year and then he went for ages without a goal. Don't make any difference. He still scored 13 goals in a team that struggled to convert chances. I would argue, and we did argue on this, James, he should have been at 20. The amount of opportunities that were not taken last year, but you have to credit a player for still continually getting himself into those points and those positions in the goal and being a creative hub within the team. Because without Barry Bannon, who currently is not signed up to a deal, he was the most creative player that we had aside from Jedi Gassama last season. He was the player who dog shit game for 89 minutes. Could just drag something out the fire himself and score, could set up or lay on an assist, would make a smart and intelligent run to open up space for others. We don't have that now, James, and I'm really pleased that you said you don't know what you've got until it's gone, because I think when we are watching the likes of potentially Olaf Kabatsky and Charlie McNeil, and this is no slight on those two players, those are two young players trying to make their way in English football, we are going to notice a stark difference between those levels of quality to what we were experiencing last year, week on week.
It's a great point. And I saw a tweet earlier from Tom, who, Tom does some fantastic stuff, the analysis and things, but I'm just going to say it is a bit blind optimism by, he's put an 11 out. Charles, Valerie Iofa, Otugbeo, Max Lowe, Svanti Baz, McNeil, Kabatske, Cads and Ugbo. High energy, young players with dotted experience. We have to hope for one of them. Man United, 1992 seasons where you blood youth and it pays off. I agree. Hope is the big word there, because again, we've seen absolutely nothing from Olaf Kabatske to say that he's going to be a world beater. Cads, all right, he scored, 4 goals, not last season, the season before in the championship. He is a championship goal scorer. Didn't do anything at Lincoln. Now, I know there could be other contributing factors and things don't work for everyone at different clubs. Ugbo didn't score 1 goal last season. Now, I hope that is just a bad season for him, a freak bad season, and things are going to pick up. Svante Ingelsson blew hot and cold, like you expected him to now, play 40 odd games and be consistent alongside Baz, which is not really done. And then we're chucking Otugbeo in a back four. He's only played 10 games last season. I think he's only done. I didn't even manage 500 minutes of football in the league, and he did look a bit shaky as well. Not digging him, but we're we're putting that team together, and I do agree. Like, you look at it on paper, but I think it is just being the optimist in me, thinking, "Oh yeah, that's gonna work." The stark reality is, like, I really don't think it's gonna be as positive as what people. And I hate to be that negative person, but I haven't seen anything in that. And I know this Deshaun Bernard that can come in. So you'd like to say that in that back four, you've got Deshaun Bernard instead of probably Otugbeo, unless he lights it up. But we're asking for all the stars to align, I feel, and everyone to kind of have their best season in order for it to be an okay season for us as a whole, if you know what I mean.
I don't disagree with you, James. I think going back just to that, like the class of 92 type of comparison that was been made there, I would say the biggest difference is not necessarily the players. Yes, I'm talking obviously with massive different levels of quality here. The biggest difference is the settled nature of the coaching staff off the pitch. We haven't got that. We haven't got a coaching staff. We've got two. We've got two coaches and a bunch of under 23s.
And we had no pre-season. And look what no pre-season did to Ikugbo. Let's just times that by the 16 players in the squad.
And that's my worry, is we will see moments 100% from Charlie McNeil if he plays. We'll see moments from Olaf Kabatsky if he plays. We'll see moments from Bailey Kadamatri if he plays, from Gabe Otugbeo, where you sit there and go, fucking hell, there's a player there. Jesus Christ, there's a player there. If we can just make that click. The difficulty is we are not a forgiving fan base, and this is not a season for
tinkering.
for bedding 6 new first teamers in, not ignore the shit that's going on with ownership. I'm on about from a coaching perspective. You've got currently an assistant manager and a manager who nobody actually knows who's in charge. Like, nobody really, yes, on paper, Danny Rohl is in charge. Yes, Danny Rohl may be perhaps taking training. He may be not, but who knows? Like, if the players know, brilliant. But from an outside perspective, you throw that into the mix and you chuck that on a match day, it's going to lead to, as we all know at Hillsborough, dissenting voices from the stands. How many times last season, James, did me and you sit on here and go, the fucking atmosphere's got to be great. We've got to be backing the players. We've got to be this. And then for the preceding 90 minutes, the following Saturday, for everyone to just be sat on their hands and moaning. What the fuck do you think this is going to be like?
Well, I do think it's going to be a little bit different this season, because there is that kind of siege mentality, and there is, you realize how bad it actually is. So it could have that opposite effect. But I think I said it last week. Let's get 5 home games in, and we're getting beat, 2-3-0 down after 20 odd minutes.
Yep.
There's only so much of the happy clapping that you can do before it just gets a little bit draining. And it wouldn't take many people to just stand up and walk out before a lot of people follow suit. And I know that's the wrong thing, and we need to back the players and stuff. But ultimately, football for many people is entertainment, and like, as much as you want to back the team and everything like this, and you say it out loud and stuff, but when it comes to actually doing it, when it gets, when the chips are down and it gets to that point, and it is defeat after defeat after defeat. And again, I hope it doesn't get to that point, but if it does, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Steve's made a point here. So didn't he score pre-season, Kabatske? Maybe he'll kick on. Remember, he was injured for months last season. Yeah, he did. And I've come to your point, Matt. When you introduce a player into a well-settled squad, it's a lot easier for him. But we're now asking, just from that 11 that I read out earlier, we're talking about Otugbeo, as I mentioned. He's not even played 500 minutes of professional football yet. McNeil, I think he's 2 appearances. It made about 10 minutes or something last season in the league. Kabatske didn't play many minutes at all, and didn't really see a great deal. Came off the bench and obviously was injured for much of it. Kadamatri, he's been away all last season. He had an injury. Didn't do great either. He's not coming in brimming with confidence, especially when his younger brother's just fucked off to Man City as well. And then we've got Ikugbo, who's literally didn't score at all. And someone corrected me. Yeah, he scored in the Carabao Cup against Grimsby.
And what a finish, eh? What a finish, eh? Cut back, rolled in. Paul Valentino assisted him, fucked off to Preston. So there's another one gone.
Well, more to Steve's point, yeah, he scored against Grimsby. Maybe he could have kicked on then.
Yeah,
but he didn't.
The only thing that I would say, James, and this is trying to bring an air of positivity to this, is you want to know how you end up with a huge backing of all of those players and all of that managerial situation? There's a magic solution to this. Sell the fucking club. You get a new owner in, my goodness me, the wave of positivity that coaching staff, that those players will experience. And nicest will in the world, it almost doesn't matter for about the month after that is announced what happens on the pitch, because the overwhelming, just sheer volume of positivity that will come as a result of that. And that's hopefully when you can kick on, and hopefully when those players start to go, oh shit, it is actually really good playing here. When it's positive, it's as you've said, James, it's just they're coming into such a horrendously difficult situation that I do hope, how poor they've had this pre-season, how poor it was, it potentially will be at the start of this season, because we haven't kicked a ball yet. Who knows? If you get a change of ownership in the next, 6 months, say 12 months, you will get the positivity. You will get it. You will get a huge swell of it. Yeah. And everybody in the ground will also buy into that. And Hillsborough will once again be a fantastic place to spend your Saturdays.
Yeah, and I just want to point out as well, maybe I'm coming across quite negative in that, but I think also there's negativity and there's also reality as well. Yeah. And I just don't want people to get kind of, we can all, of course, I want us to do well. It might be coming across as if people think, he just wants us to lose all the time. I don't. I want to go to be entertained. I want to watch good football. I want to see Sheffield Wednesday win, and I want Sheffield Wednesday to be in the Premier League at some point in my lifetime. Of course, that's what I want. But also, when I look at it and I see what's happening, me just coming on here and just starting talking about, being really positive. And yes, Kabatsky's going to score, he's going to get 17 assists and Ugbo's going to get 40 goals. And
he's on board.
I can say it, but ultimately as well, I come on here and I just say how I feel at the moment. I've done that for, 700 episodes or whatever I've done like that.
Yeah. Sorry, James. Also, on that, James, as well, on Ugbo's 40 goals a season, you've also got a working set of eyes, and you sat through last season. So I think you are, again, James, I agree with you. It's not negativity. It's just the stark reality of where we are. I am the one who's, like you were talking earlier, going, I've probably got the more rose-tinted spectacles about this. I'm now the one who's chucking out the delusional hope here. Like it's just a total role reversal. That's all.
Yeah, of course. I mean, do you know what? Put your money where your mouth is and put us to stay up next season, because I don't think we're going to. But do you know what I mean though? Like that's where it comes. BeGambleAware.org, by the way.
Yeah, please.
Just saying.
Please don't bet with Mr. Vegas.
Yeah, I don't think we'd have time to get onto that. To be fair, that might be extra time. Right, let's. This is some comments here. John says, "Will Wednesday be another Reading and have to play a team full of kids? Such a big club with history deserve better." That's from a Leeds fan. I think is the Reading did it, but Bolton did it, didn't they? Back in 1819.
Yeah.
Not 1819. I mean 2018-19. Just to clarify that.
Just on that point, James. I think, John, if I'm being honest, that is going to have to happen in the next 6 months, because I think there is a ticking clock on this, which is the football regulator coming in. Because if you are looking for a test case for the football regulator to utilise and use their new powers and wield that sword, it is Sheffield Wednesday. It also just so happens that Clive Betts, who has been petitioning for this, is a Wednesday fan. So, he won't be the football regulator, but you can damn well bet that he goes, first off, it's new day. It's your new day, first day in your new office. I hope you're enjoying it. Just check your emails. Just sent you some stuff about Wednesday. 50,000 page document of just all of Chancery's this.
Yeah, exactly. And he says, try to be ever the optimist. Dan says 40 goals by Christmas and Ugbo go for 25 million in January. 40 by Christmas. Christ, we'll be top at league. We'll be keeping him.
We might just have got out the points deduction if that happens.
Yeah. Matt says we're coming to a little bit of money, didn't we, to pay the wages, etc. Why the hell we didn't offer Bazza a new contract? Well, no, we're still under an embargo, Matt, and I think there's still that kind of grey area as to how much we can offer him, whether it's going to be $7,000 or not. But yeah,
this is my favourite one. When's the next fans forum? My God, can you imagine that fans forum?
it will be done via Zoom. I can guarantee.
Yeah, that one will be Zoom. I can't. Can you imagine he walks in? He goes, "I don't understand why everybody's so angry."
I've done by Zoom, or he'll have either. It'll be like, when you see the boxing when they face off each other and stuff, and you've got all the bouncers stood around. It'll be like that, or he'll just behind a bulletproof kind of container or something, a glass shield around him. I don't think we're going to be seeing him for in public anyway.
No, I don't think we'll ever see him ever again, personally. But there you go. Hey.
Joe, I think I've referenced this before, but it popped up on my memories. 9 years ago, I was at Owls in the Park, and I stood with a photo with Dejphon Chansiri. I don't know. I mean, for those that have seen in the Discord that have seen the picture, they've seen my comment. I don't know what I was more embarrassed about: the fact that I was still clinging on to the little hair that I had, or that I was stood next to Dejphon Chansiri.
It wasn't. For those who haven't seen the photo, he's not quite as bad as Bobby Charlton, but we're getting there.
Yes, I've given up now.
You've accepted the reality. It's not depressing, James. It's the reality of the situation. Anyway.
I had blind optimism back then that it was going to happen. It was going to miraculously just grow back, and I was going to have a full head of hair, like George Byers or Stephen Fletcher. His miraculous growth of hair that he's
Anyway, James, just to wrap this segment up, I really hope Josh Windass goes to Wrexham or makes America great again. It's one of the two, isn't it?
120 plus 3. I'll never forget that
Blackburn
that goal,
as
that
well.
moment. And
Blackburn
as well, Derby at home. And I think when you look at that, these the Blackburn goal, the Derby goal, there's only two people at the club that can do that: Barry Bannon and Josh Windass. I mean, I don't think anyone else has got the cojones to do that, for starters, let alone the skill set. So yeah, we're gonna miss him. Yeah, it's just a crying shame that he's gone. But also as well, I don't begrudge either player for leaving, nor do I begrudge anyone else who may be also leaving in the near future either. I really
agreed, James. Absolutely agreed. I also hope we get to see the second part to Josh Windass's documentary, which he couldn't release after we forced him to sign another deal, because there was all of that. There was that noise, wasn't it? There was that post he put out, and then quickly followed by, "We've extended Josh Windass's contract." What? Fucking what? I can't use half of this footage where I'm talking about it's been a great 5 and a bit years. Because the video message that he put out on Instagram I thought it was really well done. Like, really well done. I don't know who did the visuals for it. I don't know if it was Lensgo Visuals who'd done it for him. It was a really, really well put together piece. And yeah, as you say, James, I think time will be a bit of a healer with Josh Windass for certain fans, and people will recognise that when you go back and watch the clips of him, you'll go back to, shit, he did score. Some of the best moments following the club in the recent past have been involving him. 123, Blackburn, the Newcastle game, like the Portsmouth away in the promotion season where he's rifled it in after picking them all up in the snow, and he gets them all on his fun bus in the celebration.
Yeah,
important player. Yeah, important player. Sad to see him go.
Joe, I'm going to miss the most, and James Revel puts it here, he's put hostage. I'm going to miss his cryptic Instagram stories.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Who's going to take the mantle up on that one? Dishon Bernard? Is he? Because he had a bit of a pop, didn't he, with the tweet that he put out.
If I speak, I am in big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
Anyway, let's wrap that bit up. Let's talk about something equally as depressing, I guess. Not for you. You're all right. Although you might have some other people sat around you if things.
Not by me. The area where I sit is the only bit in the south stand that's got people actually sat in it.
Fair enough. Not around you, but certainly in that stand anyway.
Yeah. Concourse will be busier.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Everyone will be like, fucking hot water over here. This is fantastic. You know what? It could be a ploy. All the people on the north could end up in the south and go, do you know what? It's worth that extra £100 this over here. I'm going to buy my season ticket over here next time.
Honestly, James, I'm not one for pocket watching, but you know there are going to be people who've paid for the north, moved over to the south, and they're going to be going, well, he's paid less and he's getting the same hot water as me. I'm not having it.
We'll have to have like little lanyards on to say that you've come from North.
I've moved recently. Come say hello to me with a name badge on.
Yeah, let's not joke. It's a serious matter.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I think this is something that's kind of gone under the radar a little bit with everything else that's been going on. And
yeah,
I was on Talk Sport on Friday, and they started with this piece that are talking about the North Stand, because obviously they got wind of the I'm guessing, because there was a meeting on Friday, so I think they got wind of the minutes from the previous meeting, which I guess would have been sent with the kind of meeting invite for Friday, which said that, you know, the safety certificate won't be given unless certain work happens between now and the start of the season. So yeah, they started on that, and yeah, I think I said that in any other normal season that this news would be absolutely shocking, and really, obviously a really big thing, which obviously it still is, but it's just kind of got mixed in with all the other stuff that's been happening. And I think certain people might have perhaps forgotten about it a little bit, but obviously that stand, the North Stand, does require some work doing to it, and I think it comes as no surprise. It's not like it's just landed on his in his inbox. He's known about this for ages. He's had two reports that I've seen showing the severity of the work, and it's like a long 50-odd page document of just pictures, and to the naked eye they all look the same, but it's just showing you all the different elements of the stand. Certainly the route. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not some sort of structural engineer. Like, I'm not going to pretend that I knew exactly what it was on about, but it was
fucked.
quite.
There you go. I'll summarize. Fucked is what it is, and it has been for some time. Let's be clear about that. It's, as you said, James, the club have known about this, and in particular, the owner has known about this for an awfully long time.
I mean, I've seen things on Twitter saying that apparently last time he went up on the roof and he started jumping up and down on it. I don't know how true that is, but I've just got the image of him being up there, jumping up and down. Matt, have you seen there's a TikTok account that does like some AI AI videos of an owl wearing a, I think it says "fuck off Chancery" t-shirt or something, and it's got like obviously an AI voice on it. If you haven't seen them, I'll send it to you after. They are hilarious. There's one, and the owl stood on the roof of the stand, and he goes, "Fucking hell, nearly went through it there," or whatever he says. I don't do it any justice. You need to go and watch it. But again, they had the meeting on Friday with the safety advisory group. Now, obviously, there was obviously talking about, from what I understand, after the previous meeting, I tried to find it. I can't remember where I saw it, but the club had agreed that they would get the work, whatever work is needed will be done before the start of the season. This meeting on Friday was put in so that they could give an update as to where that work's gone. Now, I don't want to be a cynic here, but if good news had come from that meeting, given the noise around it, surely someone somewhere would have come out and said that that it's okay, everything's all sorted, they've got the safety certificate. I think Rob Stating's come out and said that a decision's now been deferred until Tuesday next week now. So again, I'm only filling in the gaps and reading between the lines to say that it probably wasn't good news that's come out of that. I mean, again, nothing confirmed, but it doesn't sound great, does it, Matt?
No, I think at this point you assume the worst until told otherwise, because we're talking, three seasons worth of work that has basically we've just been sticking a bandage over it.
No, I don't think we're doing that. I think we're just hoping that this rust, just like how we're hoping that my hair miraculously grew back. I think that Dajpon's been thinking that the rust is just miraculously going to disappear and just certainly fix itself. So to my knowledge, we've done nothing to the stand at all.
Yeah, then you assume the worst until you've heard otherwise. Like, is the honest answer. Like what can you glean from this? Like, what positivity comes from this aside from, it's been postponed until Tuesday? Why has it been postponed until Tuesday?
What comes out
it's not because they're just going, do you know what? They're only coming in Monday to fix it. So by Tuesday, it'll be done. It's not like we're doing a crack in a wall, is it? Like, it's not like we've got someone come round. We're going to do a quote. Yeah, it'll probably take me and the lads. Probably take me, Terry, and John here 3 days. Do you know what? Can you do it in a day? Well, it'll be hard graft. It'll cost you twice. Yeah, I'll do it in a day. It's a fucking stand. Like, it houses. How many does it house? 10,000?
Something like that.
10,000, roughly about that. It's not like an easy job, because if it was, the club would have done it and the club would have sorted it. To me, it just reeks of yet another thing that the owner is not prepared to confront. And this, again, James, Tuesday will provide some level of news potentially with journalists who do obviously get the story from somebody, but it smacks me as we play Leicester, obviously, and then, in the week leading up to it, everyone's asking 2 questions. 1, where's my virtual season ticket?
Yeah.
And 2, can I actually go and sit in my seat? And then on Friday, all get a message: you've been placed here. You want to sit here? Yeah.
I saw a message. I don't know if it was a message or just a Twitter reply saying that someone had gone to buy a ticket for their daughter. So him and his wife have got a season ticket in the North Stand. They wanted to buy a ticket for the daughter to also sit with them, but they're not selling any season tickets at all in the North Stand. I don't know if it's just in the North Stand, but I think his ticket was in the North, so he's not going to buy it in another stand, is he? But they weren't selling season tickets. I don't know whether that's because of this current issue or not, but it would make sense. I mean, you mentioned how many people can sit in there. 9,255 is the capacity. Obviously, I'm sure it's a little bit less with that block on the extreme left as you look at the stand.
Yeah.
I don't know what block it'll be next to T1. No idea.
Yeah, mate, T2. Let's call it
T. I think it'll probably be. I have no idea. But anyway, that block obviously is sectioned off. But I think the other thing as well is let's say the worst happens and that stand isn't open for the season. Like, where's everyone going to go? Because I mean, you look at Paul asked a question on Twitter, and said, like, I know you sit on the North. If the safety issue is not passed, what's your rights? What will you do? Now, I think the first thing is they'll just relocate people. But you've got 11,000 seats in the South, 11,000 on the Cop, 22,000. I think it's 22,500. I think it is when you add all the extra few ones on.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze, isn't it? Because I'm not saying we've got 22,000 season ticket holders. It's probably going to be around about, I don't know, 16, 17,000 season ticket holders. That's not leave many empty seats, does it, at all?
Nope. Where is everyone going to go? Are we going to open the bottom of the LEP to home fans? Are we capping away fans because the home capacity has been reduced? Are we doing that? Is there going to be extra costing there for policing or segregation between those fans as they walk into the Leppings Lane end? Are people going to be happy with the seat that they have been redistributed to or given? Are the people who are in those stands, as I mentioned, I'm not one for pocket watching, but there will be people who are there and go, well, I've paid this amount of money, I want my refund, and rightly so if you've paid more money to sit in the North Stand than you have in, say, for argument's sake, I don't know, the grandstand or wherever.
Well, the grandstand's same price. The Cop is cheaper.
Yeah. But let's say you've purchased your season ticket and you get chucked in the Cop. Are you happy? Because the view's totally different, like totally different perspective of the game.
I don't like it. I've sat on the Cop a few times. I was there. I think last time that I can remember, probably Brighton in the playoffs. Ever since then, I've sat in the North Stand. You sit in the South occasion, Cup games, some of the Cup when the North Stand's not open. But I don't like that view. I know some people love it, and I'm not saying that you have to always sit on the sides. Me personally, I think it comes from playing Football Manager as well. You have to sit on the side, like for me to see the game. I just can't. My eyes are shit as well. And when you're low down on the Cop, that is awful. When you think, Jesus Christ, it's it, and you look back on replay, and he was just going past the halfway line. Yeah, you think he's on the edge of the 18-yard box.
But also, James, just for parity here, if we're going to have to fill up seats on the Cop, where are the empty seats? Remind me. Are they smack in the middle with a great view halfway up, or are they behind them bastard pillars? Like,
that is the point, isn't it? Yeah.
and again, if you are in the south, say for argument's sake, if you want, let's smack opposite me in the north will also be arguing. It'll be another bloke called let's call him Matt as well. There'll be a bloke sat smack opposite me going, "Fucking hell, this is best seat in the house." This, where you going to be? Where you going to be put to? Where are you going to be placed to? If you're in that T1 block, like again, I've mentioned him earlier on this evening, but Peter and his Sunset, are you going to be happy being chucked up into like the gods of the south?
I can't wait until T1's relocated into grandstand, in family stand.
Yeah,
That's going to go down very well, isn't it?
100%, James. And this is the thing that if you
they'll all want to be put together, won't they, as well? Like if you think about it.
Because that's the next question. Because what are you going to do with people who want to sit together? Are you just going to go, your ticket's here, your ticket's here? Because then you're just going to have people who just walk down and stand with people. Then you're just going to have people who go to here or here. Like what? Again, James, we've been asking this question on this pod for fucking bro. What is the plan?
Well, I hope it doesn't get to this point, Matt. Let's be honest. We're talking about something that's hypothetical, but also very. It could happen. Like
it's a very real possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had Rob Staten come out and say that if nothing happens between now and the start of the season, the council cannot categorically say whether the stand will be given a safety certificate. And I think there's a lot of going around the houses with that.
Yeah, being very careful. Yeah,
it's not said it's going to be shut down, but hypothetically, that is we could have talked about this last season, the season before, and I think it has been floated, but nothing ever comes of it because everything's all right. But now it is a stark reality.
Yeah, I've just highlighted this one from Jimmy 1867. Put me behind a pillar and blindfold me.
It might be actually it could be the best view.
Best view in the house, that right behind that one on the cop, right behind it.
Did you see what he did there? No, I didn't see any of their faults there. Their 4 goals at all.
I haven't seen their 4. How many times have I had to go fucking hell and I can't see anything?
But the other thing though as well is I don't know what the stance is on refunds and stuff. I don't know if it's in the terms that you can't get a refund or not, but then I don't know. It's not a normal thing, is it, to be kind of relocated in your seat that you've paid for? It's not. I don't know if it is that is baked into the terms or not to say that they can just move you. I've no idea. I'm sure there'll be people saying, "I want my money back." Like, and what a perfect opportunity. We've had to buy the season ticket in January, when we were, as we spoke about last week, we were actually talking about playoffs. I feel ashamed that we actually even talked about those things, and we've kind of thought, next season might, we might be pushing on. We might have a good season next season. That's when we bought the season tickets. Now, honestly, if season tickets were on sale today, I dread to think how many people would have bought them. I don't think it would have been half as many as what it is now. So it's a prime opportunity for someone to go, you know what? I want my money back. I don't want this season ticket. I'm just going to relieve myself of all the pain.
So George has just put here, and I've highlighted this comment. I'm going to highlight another one in a second, which is an administrative nightmare to actually go through thousands of people and move them, and the club potentially aren't advanced enough to do it. And then Annie has also said the terms is that they can relocate you.
I think it'll either be done for you, which I think is a big no-no, or it'll probably be that you'll get an email or something, and then everyone that's on the north, it'll just be like a cup game where you've just got to go on, and then you'll just have to pick another seat, and it'll just show you the available seats, and that'll be an absolute free-for-all, especially if there's 5,000 or 6,000 season ticket holders all of a sudden eligible to buy a ticket all at the same time, and there's not that many to choose from either.
Jesus, and you can hold them in the basket on the club shop for 45 minutes. It's going to be a nightmare. I've raised this one from Dejpon to potentially give us a peek behind the curtain that it isn't actually Dejpon Chansiri here, which says a serious question: aren't there a lot of disabled bays on the north? What are we doing for disability supporters? It's a great question. It's a great question.
Yeah, I think there's also on the west stand lower. There's also that bit on the at the back for them as well, but that also poses problems again with what happens when we have a big allocation. What happens again? This is all hypothetical, and I really hope we don't get to this situation. If you just joined us at this point, this north stand as it stands is still open, but there's a distinct possibility that it might not be. And these are all the questions that are going to be thrown at the club at some point, and they need to, it needs to be watertight.
It does, James. You're correct. I will just lighten the mood again here because now, like Deshpon has just put in the chat, lads, I promise you it's really me. Actually, the more I think about it, it's probably a legitimate question. To be fair, I think it's probably a legitimate question.
Well, to be fair, it didn't know that you can't have 30,000 season ticket holders.
No, that's a fair point. Yeah, my mistake.
It probably is him asking us what the answers are to all the questions.
But it is, it's worrying. Like genuinely, it's another thing that is. If this was a normal preseason, James, this would be all we were talking about. Yeah. If this was a normal preseason, this would be all we were talking about. And this, I think, when you're talking about the severity of an issue, we're talking about the potential relocation of 5,000 to 6,000 season ticket holders in a stand that is the one that you see on television not being open to supporters until God knows when in a season. Any other year, this would be front and center of anybody's agenda. But actually, as it is, as you rightly said, James, Friday, when this news came out, I think I put it in our Discord chat. I was like, what the fuck is this going on with the North? Like, it's just another thing, isn't it, to add to the list?
Well, it came on third on our list of things to talk about. Do you know what I mean? And it's actually taken up that much time as well that we're not even going to be able to talk about is it a positive thing? The new kit? Because we have run out of time. We are going to have to wrap things up.
That limited edition kit that I paid for. This is the only reason I'm wearing this, James, is because it is the only limited edition football shirt that has actually been produced by the club.
Yeah, you limited edition means you're going to get it about a day or two before everyone else.
I will put money on the fact that I fucking don't, because it won't come out on time, and there'll be somebody else who's got it before me. Why bother?
I know. Right,
so angry about it.
We're going to head over to extra time right now, in about 10 minutes or so. So head over to patreon.com/WTID pod if you want to continue listening to us over there. We are going to be we will talk about the kit and what we think of it. We'll start off with that because next week it'll be old news, so we need to cover that off. And we're also going to talk about obviously that news that came on Wednesday when nothing was happening at all. And I was being quite positive. I said that we haven't heard anything. Maybe that's a good thing. NDAs have been signed. Maybe things are happening in the background. No, nothing was happening in the background. And the takeover talks have stalled. Obviously, Joe told us about that. Stalled or may have even broken down. So we're going to be talking about kind of what next, what is actually going to be happening, and kind of things that we know, which is not much really, to be honest, but give our thoughts on that whole takeover situation. So patreon.com/WTID pod. Head over there, sign up, and you'll see the link that I've posted for extra time. So thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all over there. Cheers.